Building the railroads in India and Mexico was a laborious task. The amount of labor to build these railway systems involved a grueling process in which workers had to clear through forests, dig through mountains, and create tall, sturdy structures with very limited safety standards. But the pain of this labor was beneficial in the long run. The railroads brought connectivity to both countries and strongly affected the social conditions of the people in India and opened up new trading markets in Mexico. 1853, after years of research and planning by the East India Railway Company, India's first railway line between Thane and Bombay was opened. The purpose of this project was to make trade and travel easier for both British companies and Indian farmers, which in fact happened. But as Britain continued to formulate a modern trading system in India, the European crown unknowingly helped its colony fight for independence. Furthermore, the introduction of the railways, telegraphs, and unified postal systems had brought the different part of the country together and promoted mutual contact among the people, especially among the leaders. In India's case, ideas of nationalism became widespread. It would eventually be the demise of British power and the beginning of an independent India. William Johnson's photograph, titled "The Cotton Ground, Colaba, Bombay," depicts a surge of cotton production within India. The amount of cotton bundles in this photograph is immense. While no humans are visible, there are many ladders, wagons, and harvesting tools lying around ready to be used. Surrounding the cotton bundles are relatively new European-style buildings. The buildings to the right are possible factories that produced India's famous calico textiles. The entirety of the photograph demonstrates Europe's exploitation of raw materials and Indian labor for its own monetary gain. Oftentimes, Britain would buy this cotton at low prices and transport it to European manufacturing companies to make valuable products. The Swadeshi movement was formed as part of an Indian freedom struggle that encouraged Indians to stop using British products in hope of improving the economic conditions in India. With the help of the nationalist movements, figures like Gandhi, and by weaving their own textiles, the Indians took control of its share of the textile industry and forced Britain out. The creator of this 1890 photo, titled Bengal Nagpur Railroad Construction No. 43, is unknown. In the photo, the viewer sees boys of all ages posing in front of a construction site for a railroad tunnel. All but one man in the photo is wearing rugged clothes. The man in the nicer white suit looks to have not done any work building the tunnel. This uniform disparity might have to do with the different roles that each worker played working the different jobs on the railroad. Conditions were less than acceptable and appeared dry and dirty due to the environmental conditions of the area. The labor was rigorous, as many of the workers created tunnels that bore through large mountains. The utensils seen in the picture include bowls, ladders, and other support systems, implying that they had limited supplies to create this immense project. Mexico's soil had the potential to grow just about anything, but the lack of transportation and tools necessary for the economy to thrive kept the country from growing. Mexico today is really poorer than any other country of equal area and population, simply for the reason that she has been impoverished and is therefore wanting the adequate capital to meet her own necessities. A railway system was eventually built in Mexico thanks to Porfirio Diaz, Mexico's ruler during 1884 and 1911. His name was credited to the unification of the country and the vital growth of Mexico's economy. As shown in this photo, Diaz was a well-decorated general with a presence of power and authority. His stance, very strong and stoic, he was a ruler with drive and vision. In order to fund his railway system, Diaz procured investments from foreign companies that would profit from Mexico's expanding trade markets. Because the diplomatic relation with England, France, and Spain remained suspended until Mexico renegotiated its debt in the mid-1880s, most of the private capital from the nation's first railroad boom came from the United States. Because Mexico and the U.S. share a border, American and Mexican companies and farmers prospered financially. Now new opportunities were opened up for importing and exporting goods from both countries. Because of his success, Diaz opened up additional opportunities for Mexican industries to expand and mass-produce goods to sell across the border. From 1879 to 1910, Mexico's railway system expanded from merely 893 kilometers to 19,000 kilometers. As seen in this map, railway tracks were able to connect mines to ports and farmers to markets, which enabled an increased foreign trade. In general, Mexico's railways linked together cities of large populations, including areas whose resources and geographical location seemed to offer immediate economic gain. Oftentimes, rural areas without access to railroad systems struggled financially. Abel Burkett's photo, Locomotive with Workers on Railroad Bridge, depicts a railroad bridge going through a small, low-income village. The photograph portrays the village's inhabitants garbed in all-white clothing, most likely made from cotton. The middle ground of this photo depicts houses containing a Spanish architectural style. The environment's appearances seem to be dusty and polluted from the train's exhaust, which seem present. The village benefited by having access to the railroad, as it provided many business opportunities that would not have existed due to its remote location. The construction of these railroads required a large workforce and provided many new job opportunities. Oftentimes, workers were paid very little, but for people trying to support families, any wage was better than none. I predict that the company paid below the standard living wage for these workers to do the manual labor. This process of labor not only took a sufficient amount of time, but also offered the workers little relief with the pain that they endured. The development of the railroad system was by far one of the most important technological advancements of the 19th century. It brought commerce, prosperity, and knowledge to rural villages that otherwise would have been impoverished.